Welcome back. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to part 2. So, 2 nights ago, Wednesday it was, we watched and broke down briefly the interview that Fiona Harvey did with Piers Morgan. And we're now going to look at the following evening on his channel, on his YouTube channel. He had this panel on of experts, of so-called experts, and they broke it down to see what was going on. So what I want to do tonight, we're going to watch that. Obviously, I've got to keep pausing it. I've got to keep talking over it because of fair use, as you're aware. So we're going to use it under the fair dealing laws in the UK. So I have to keep pausing it. If you want to watch it in full, I am going to keep dropping the actual link to it so you can go and watch it in full after the show. Or if you want to ditch us and go and watch it, you can. But we're live and they're not, so you won't get any interaction. And let's see what they say. See, I haven't watched this. I watched the interview for the first time Wednesday night with you guys, so it's going to be the first time watching this. I have not got a clue what they're going to say. I can only go through what I said and what I thought myself. So here we go. Hello, everybody, by the way. Welcome. Let's just get this going. Yeah, I didn't think I was too tired. I had a little doze. I had an hour just before I came on. So tired. I wouldn't have been able to stay awake for you. Can't be having that, can we? All right. Hello, everybody. How we all doing? I'm not going to go through everybody. I'm going to a really brief, quick hello to those of you that I can see right now on the screen. We have Devon, Yvonne, Bitsy, Tamsin, hello, Tony G, Bevlar, English Buttercup, the beautiful Ellen is here, Cassandra, yeah, I can't, Cosmic's here, I can't see much, because obviously I've got this up and I can just catch the odd bit of chat, but those are the ones that I can actually see, so welcome.
Netflix going all in at the start, saying this is a true story. No, we did everything we could to protect identity. No, you didn't. People found her in 10 seconds.
Yes.
That's not a duty of care.
I just cannot believe that everybody dropped the ball.
This is what's coming up. Okay, we don't need to see that. I pay for premium. We don't have any ads on here. It's a good thing, isn't it?
In the series, sent to jail for her harassment of the
Okay, so hopefully Piers will get some answers here. What's this?
Entities of the people involved.
Right, so I need to go back a little bit. Hold on. I don't need to see sensationalist little monologue. Right, are we ready? This, I'm going to be dropping this, okay? Oh no, look at this. Bitsy Bagpipe says Fiona is doing a nightclub appearance tomorrow at Coventry nightclub, the Casbah, to sign autographs. This is, 2024. We knew it was going to be strange, and we haven't even got near the elections yet. I just want to say, if you're in the UK, Rushy, whatever your name is, washing, the fact that you won't even announce the date of the election, which we all know now is going to be in November, but you won't announce it, shows what an effing coward you are. You know, in America, you guys have fixed term election. We used to. David Cameron brought them in, and then I think Doris or Theresa May got rid of them. We don't even know when the elections are going to be. You've got an election in November, and you guys have got a campaign going on. We don't even know when ours are. They don't tell us. They're allowed to keep it a secret. It's disgusting. Thank you. Right then, so we're going to continue. We've got 51 people watching. What's the matter? Oh, that's me caught. Yeah. Do you want to do a fresh one a bit? Thank you. Sorry. Right then, here we go. I'll give you right. Okay, I'll give you a really brief Hang on a minute. I'll give you a really brief overview of what I said the other day just before we continue. But if people want to go back and check, you can, to see whether I really said this. I think that she was telling the truth on the parts where she said she didn't go to his house. She looked like she was telling the truth. She was telling the truth on the 41,000 emails. Doesn't mean it wasn't 40 or 39. I think she was lying when she said that she didn't do all that tweeting. She was lying on the voice notes. I think she was lying a lot then. I think she was lying on all these boyfriends that she's had. She also said that she had a boyfriend when all of this supposedly happened. So I think, you know, I went into this. I forgot everything that was said on the you know, watching the show, and I gave her a fair chance. I really did, because I think that Richard Gadd's lying a lot as well. And there's something about him, he gives me the creeps. So I think that she is lying an awful lot, but she didn't do all of the things. So let's just see. There is also the possibility, and I've said this before, that they're both in it together, that they have concocted this scenario. You know, they did have a little thing once a few years back, because you just imagine if this, do you remember that? Right, okay, I'm going to go back in time now. Do you guys remember there was a song that came out in the early noughties, and it was a guy singing about a girl that she cheated on him, and I can't remember what the song went like. And then she, a few months later, the girl who it came out that it was about this other girl, and she brought a song out about, no, actually, this is my side, and you cheated on me. I can't remember what the song was called. It reminds me of that. It was clearly orchestrated to create this thing going, and then you can take a side, you know, like I'm team Martha or I'm team Richard. Yes, F you, that's it. Bevlar's got it. Yeah. So, you know, it could be that neither is telling the full truth. They both just had a shag, and you know, they were into each other. But what I don't get is that Richard Gadd would have only been in his like mid to early 20s then. And then you've got her that she's now 58. So there's a big difference. But anyway, let's get into it. Yeah, she's a lawyer. Well, a failed lawyer, apparently. But let's see. Here we go. Again, I'm going to have to keep pausing it because of fair dealing. It's not a case of just sitting here watching the whole thing. But I will be dropping the link throughout so you can go and check it out yourself. Here we go.
And threatening and sinister stalker who made
Right.
Richard Gadd's life utter hell. To be that they're very skilled liars. Invented psychopaths. The common denominator of all these people tends to be that they're very skilled liars. I think they often truly believe what they're telling me. Well, Fiona Harvey hasn't killed anybody, but if she did everything that she's accused of doing as Martha in Baby Reindeer, then she would be an unstable, obsessive, and threatening and sinister stalker who made Richard Gadd's life utter hell, and indeed other people's lives utter hell. But is it all true? Netflix says explicitly at the beginning of the series that this is a true story, not based on a true story or inspired by real events. A true story. Unless there be any doubt about what the streamer company thinks about this, a Netflix policy chief said this to a parliamentary committee in the UK this week.
Baby Reindeer is an extraordinary story, and it is obviously a true story of the horrific abuse that the writer and protagonist Richard Gadd suffered at the hands of a convicted stalker. We did take every reasonable precaution in disguising the real life identities of the people involved in that story.
Well, the series ends with Martha, already a convicted stalker in the series, sent to jail for her harassment of the comedian and his family. And in fact, it shows her admitting that she had done all this before she is sentenced. But no journalists or internet sleuths have found any evidence so far of Fiona Harvey being convicted for anything.
That's what we're waiting for, you know, and I'm sure these internet sleuths, you know, I am not one of them. I've stayed out of this. Would have found it by now. I just want to say as well, what Bitsy Bagpipe just said. Welcome to the stream, by the way. Does anyone else think it's strange that he played himself and replayed SA scenes himself. Would anyone be able to do that? Not sure. Yet this is what I've been saying. It didn't make any sense. Like, I can understand that. I can understand that he wanted to do it himself because he wanted to portray exactly how it happened. I said that earlier when I did a live stream earlier on my other channel, but I find the whole thing bizarre that he's played himself because he's got somebody else to play her. So if he's got somebody else to play her down to what he says exactly happened, then why can't he have somebody else play him? But then if it's based off a play and he plays himself, I can kind of get that as well. But yeah, I'm sorry, but I don't, my opinion, I don't believe a lot of it because what he's saying, and I've always felt that. If that really happened to him, right, you would have gone to the police. I'm sorry. If that happened and you were a man and you knew who that person was, if you were a decent person, he'll do it again and again and again to other people. So if you want to, if you're a decent person, you're going to try and prevent other people doing it. And yet, he's basically let it go on, and he's now saying it's made him bisexual. I find that, I'm sorry, I find that bit really bizarre. You don't just go from heterosexual to that to then bisexual. Find that really strange. I think a lot of it is bizarre. Yeah. Anyway, so I'm gonna go again, and we're not talking about bird tables. Here we go.
Let alone harassing or stalking Richard Gadd. It's not a difficult thing to check. And that alone, if it turns out that she hasn't actually been convicted of any crime in relation to Richard Gadd or indeed anybody else, would surely call into massive question the credibility of a lot of the rest of the drama and indeed what he claims about Martha, Fiona Harvey. Because if that fundamental fact is not true, what else is not true? At what point does fact become fiction? Netflix and Gadd have also claimed, we just heard one of the Netflix officials claim it in Parliament, that they did everything they could possibly do to hide her identity and the identity of other people depicted in the series. But the reality is that she was traced within hours by internet sleuths simply by cross-referencing her real-life social media posts with the ones that were used in the show. And having interviewed Fiona for nearly an hour, it's also clear to me they deliberately chose an actress who bears a striking resemblance to her, both physically and in the way that she speaks in the series. Now, all of this points to what I would say is a massive duty of care failure by Netflix, by Richard Gadd, and by Clerkenwell Films, which produced the series. But let's be clear, none of that means that I think Fiona Harvey told me the whole truth. I found her to be intelligent, coherent, combative, and quick thinking. And on a human level, I felt sorry for her that she's become the object of global ridicule and, as she says, the recipient of serious death threats. But there were plenty of moments in the interview that rang alarm bells to me. Moments where I think she was frankly lying, as we're about to discuss. But if Richard Gadd feels entitled to make millions airing his side of the story, and in the process make very serious allegations against Fiona Harvey, on whom Martha is clearly based in the process, then she is surely entitled to respond and defend herself as she chose to do. As for who is exploiting whom, well, I'll leave that to the court of public opinion to decide, or indeed an actual court if it comes to it. Well, joining me now to discuss that and the bombshell interview that's made waves across the world, celebrity criminal defense lawyer Mark Garagos from Los Angeles, addiction specialist Dr. Drew, I think he's also in LA, and from Scotland, YouTube's premier pop culture critic, The Critical Drinker. And here in the studio with me, uncensored contributors Esther Krakow and lawyer Paula Roan Adrian. Well, welcome.
Right, I'm going to pause it there. So, hello, Dr. Refill. So, first of all, okay, who has watched this? Just let me know if you've watched this. Because I know that I should have asked this the other day. I know a lot of you have. How many people have watched Baby Reindeer here? Just give me a yes or a no. Fiona hasn't watched Baby Reindeer at all. Cheryl has. I think Bev. Did you finish it, Bev? Did you finish it, darling? No, Candice. Tone. Nanny L has. No, English Buttercup. Blimey, I can't keep up. Tone Doll, no. Little Miss Sunshine, yes. Bagpipes. There's a lot of no's. There's a lot of yeah. Miss Ella, hello, my lovely. Hey, Dr. Evil. No Country Girl, no. Okay, so Bev watched it in one go, and me. No, I wouldn't piss on it, says John. I'm going to watch it, says Finola. Only the interview, says Elaine. Episode 4, Diane Seal. Good luck with that one, my lovely. You know, not watched it yet, just bits on YouTube, says lovely jubbly. Okay, just quickly, has anybody watched this now, what we're about to watch? Just so we're aware. Has anybody watched this review of the interview by the specialists? Watched it twice, says Cheryl. Hi, David. I have. Okay, so Bev Lars watched this. No. Okay, so Bev, no cheating. No. Oh, Little Miss Sunshine has. Cheryl has. Amanda hasn't. Lovely Jubbler hasn't. Okay, so we've got a couple of people. So hopefully they'll be able to contain their fingers and not type any clues. John said he saw this interview. Okay. So I haven't seen this. I don't even know who these people are. I don't think I recognise any of them. I don't usually watch Piers Morgan. So it apparently has some regular people on who are here. So, and also some newbies. So let's have a look then. Here we go.
To all of you. Let me start with Paula and Esther, who are with me here. I mean, Paula, you've all had a chance to watch the interview here. What did you make of it?
Hi, Mama Bear.
Utterly fascinating. And actually what you have done is you provided a window into the world of what happens in a courtroom. You asked a lot of questions, Piers, that I would put to somebody who I was cross-examining in terms of this type of action.
Did you believe her?
It doesn't matter whether I believe her
Well,
or
it
not.
does.
No, let me explain to you why. Because you and I have this discussion a lot about the truth.
These people really piss me off. I can't listen to her. I don't want to hear his usual panelists. I want to hear the experts. Yeah? Anyone can give an opinion. I can give an opinion. And I'm giving my opinion based on pretty good at reading people. Especially when I can see their face. And just going by common knowledge of how people act when they're lying and stuff. So I want to hear the so-called experts and see what they say. What we all drinking tonight? Let me know in the chat. Right, I want to get on to.
Well,
Paula.
Piers, no.
Getting on my
asked me
tits, love.
Those key things, like was she convicted or not? Well, what happens?
Of course it
Is that
matters.
true or not?
Yeah, well, this is a bit where you have to use a bit of common sense. If it's found that she has not been convicted of anything and she didn't spend 9 months in prison like this series is alleging, there is no assumption of probability or anything like that. It's either true or it's not true. And you can look up someone's records and find if they've spent 9 months in prison like this series is alleging. I actually happen to think that Martha's story or a version of the truth is probably closer to the actual truth. Yes, there is a spectrum here, and none of us were there. None of us were direct witnesses, and we can't, talk about Richard Gadd's feelings or his truth. Fine, but there are some things that are not based on feelings and are fact. Like if she was convicted, like if she assaulted the girlfriend,
right?
Like if she sent 41,000 emails, which is ludicrous. I mean, I do think she sent some emails, not like what she said in the.
I think on the emails.
I do think she sent emails.
Well, let's play that. Let's play that bit actually from the.
I agree with this lady.
Fiona Harvey talking to me about the emails. So all of this would come out in a court case.
In disclosure, yes.
And you're prepared to do that?
Yes. Because I didn't write him the emails.
Who do you think did?
I have no idea. I think he probably made them up himself. I've no idea. 41,000 emails.
Yeah. I mean, would
I don't know.
Would you accept that someone who did that would be very obsessive about someone?
Yes. I mean, that's a lot of emails.
Now, what was interesting was when I kept pushing on this, because I thought it was a very important part of the interview, she did then say, Esther, well, even if I did, even if I had sent those emails, it still doesn't mean the rest is true. It was one of the few moments I felt she slipped up, where if I'm a criminal lawyer, again, we'll come to Mark in a moment, who's more expert in these matters, but that seemed to me a very important moment where she was raising the spectre that she may have done, but it still didn't mean the rest is true, which, by the way, if that's the case, she was right to say that.
Yeah.
But she didn't actually admit, I sent them. For what it's worth, I think she probably did.
Yeah.
I think that Netflix and Richard Gadd must have actual evidence, or they wouldn't have been so precise about the number of emails, text messages,
think as well,
and so on.
It's kind of absurd to imply that Richard Gadd might have sent them himself. If he was trying to build up some kind of narrative of a stalker, you would not need 41,000 emails to do that.
No, I agree.
Exactly.
A few dozen would have been enough. You
Yeah,
know,
no,
so
I
clearly
agree.
it wasn't him sending them to himself.
I agree. And Critical Drink, I want to come to you actually just on a wider point about Baby Reindeer and Estate. Let me just go to Mark Gallagher, so because Mark, from a legal perspective, it's probably a different set of rules here. If this was judged on airing in America to the UK.
So I think, is he a criminal lawyer now? I think that we're going to see what he says. But yeah, I do believe that she sent some emails, but I really don't believe that she sent all of those. I just don't. I really don't.
UK, we have tougher defamation laws here, for example. But from what you've gleaned about this, and given her emphatic denial that she was ever even charged, let alone convicted and confessed to the crime, where would she sit legally?
Well, you're right.
Can I just add as well, in the UK, you cannot pull people's criminal records up. That's something that you can't do. In the US, you can pull up anyone's criminal record. You might have to make a little bit of money. I think you might have to pay a small fee. Hi, Dave. But yeah, you can get anyone's criminal record. In the UK, you can't. As far as I'm aware, you can't, unless someone willingly gives it to you. You can't just get it. So, saying that, internet sleuths have usually got their way, haven't they? Whether they know a copper, you could do it on the D-Lo. I don't know. Hi, Susan. Have you watched it? Okay, my lovely. Thanks for letting me know. To watch that debate. We might get into some more. At the moment, we've got to be careful because a lot the smaller channels will not let you look at their content. Yeah, it's fair use, and yeah, I would fight it and I would win because I keep pausing it. But do I really want to get into arguments with other YouTube channels? Probably not. Piers Morgan's got better things to do than argue. Where you know the law, he's got a team around him that would know this is fair use. But yeah, you can't just get someone's criminal record. So I don't know how you would go about it, but they do know the area. And I'm pretty certain that they would be able to find whether the track down who worked at the pub at the time. They've already found the pub. This is what I don't get, that you can't just pull up someone's criminal record. So I don't know. Is this critical thinker on this panel, or is that a different stream? I just want to see Piers's panel tonight because it was his interview, wasn't it?
England has, to my mind, much better rules when it comes to defamation. But having said that, and as somebody who is currently adverse to Netflix, I will tell you, in my experience at least, they do tend to take great liberties when they represent what the particular facts are. And specifically in America, you have a doctrine, both defamation by implication, defamation per se, the accusing her of being a criminal, and kind of doubling down on it by saying she served time. If that is not true, she's got a whale of a case.
Yeah,
I think so. I think so.
Yeah, this is the bit that I don't get, right? If this was a setup between those two, that doesn't make any sense. Bottom corner on the right. Okay. So this dude here, Yeah, is it a YouTuber or something? Thanks for that. Hey, Dave. So they're not here though, Dave. They are in America. Criminal records are not public information here. It's totally different here. Anyway, so this is what I don't get. If they'd concocted this together, which is possible, then they really are risking it, aren't they? If that didn't happen. And if it didn't happen, whether they concoct it together or not, all she's got to do is prove, yeah, that didn't happen. And Netflix are fucked, which is what I find really strange. Why didn't Netflix show that? Why didn't they do their research? This is what's making me think that those two have concocted this together. And I'm just looking at scenarios now. What if Fiona Harvey sued Netflix and they're in it together and she gave half to him? So he's made all of the money from Netflix and then she sues Netflix. I'm not saying that's what's going on, but it's still a possibility. We've got to look at all the possibilities, haven't we? Get it all on the table, get it all out there, and then we can look at it. So let's keep listening to this dude here.
Well, hang on one second. Yes. I just want to bring in Esther first, just because I was going to come to you. Did you believe a lot of what she was saying when she was she was so emphatic with a number of her denials? How credible did you find her in that interview with me?
I found about 75% of what she was saying to be true, particularly on the conviction point, because I don't think that you can lie about that. And so far, all the evidence from what we've seen is bearing out. We can't find any convictions of her spending 9 months in prison. I do think that she did probably make some inappropriate advances towards him. But this is also, I mean,
he admits leading her on.
Well, yes, but also this is
multiple
times. Can I just say, and I don't want to be lewd, this is someone who admitted to masturbating to pictures of Martha. So clearly, he was not someone of sound mind or the most credible person. He had his own issues, and the way he interpreted any kind of interaction with them, I also think is also due.
I forgot about that. He admitted to it, folks. He admitted to the master and the baiting, to photos of her. That does not sound like somebody who's stalked, does it? I don't know anybody that's ever been stalked that's done that. And again, if he's lying about that, what if it does that throws? Okay, if he's found to lie about this conviction, for example, he would have no chance in hell of ever getting a conviction against his actual RAPE. You got to look at that as well. This is why this story is so bizarre, because you've got the stalking on the one hand, and then episode 4 where he says that he was violated by another man, yeah, that turned him bi, which is just so bizarre. The statute of limitation, I'm not sure what it is in the UK. I know, I think he would have time. I don't know, but someone can check it out. I know it's different countries and different places have different times. If he wanted to prosecute this guy now, he would have no chance in hell. He's not only done a play, he's also done a TV show and played himself, having it done to him. And if he's lying about Martha's conviction, if he was lying about that, then no one's going to believe in a court of law that he's telling the truth, that happened to him. So all he's doing is setting himself up to be a prolific liar. This is another thing that makes no sense to me. Anyway, I don't know. Anyway, we'll keep going.
Will it be valid to scrutinize it as well? Because this is not someone that I thought was all there, quite frankly. I think the bigger issue here is the lengths that Netflix has gone to create this fiction, because they can't actually create a story like this because they'll be liable to all the kind of social commentary of them glamorizing stalking and all of that. They decided to put the based on a true story label to protect themselves, because they don't actually want to put original content out there that they think what people would find interesting. They wanted to make this look like it's exactly Richard Gadd's story.
On that point, let me bring in critical drinker Will Jordan, because actually I don't think Netflix could have had a clue how big this was going to blow. I was absolutely stunned how big You
see, I wasn't. I knew this was going to be big. I said to my husband the night it came on, I said, I've just watched this thing. I know I'm watching it now. I was in like episode 3, just come out. that day. I said, this is going to go to #1. This is going to blow up. I don't know why. I just had it was so addictive, and it did. And I think he's right there. Netflix didn't know, and that's why they didn't think they'd be scrutinized this much. They did not think that at all, and that is exactly what I said on the night it came out. This is going to be massive, because I really enjoyed it. I binged it in one night. It was gone, and I was like, wow, that doesn't happen very often. So I honestly, I do think that if they knew that this was going to be this big, if there was going to be interviews, she's going to be tracked down, that should be on Piers Morgan, they're probably absolutely crapping themselves right now. Yeah, because can you imagine? All we've got to do is prove one of those things are not true, and they are wide open to be sued. But it's rich. It is Amanda, my lovely. It's on Netflix. And the guy, Richard Gadd, he plays himself, and he says that he was stalked by this lady. And he tells this, he plays himself. It was a play, and Netflix snapped it up. And they say it's true, and everything that she did to him is true. But the red herring in there is that he also says that he was RAPE'd by another man in episode 4. Which, why would you? That doesn't need to be in there. And it also, that was from a different play that he did. And if you were really, that happened to you, you imagine he did play on it as well. So he's doing his play every night as well at the Edinburgh Fringe Festival, reenacting his own RAPE. If you really were a victim of that, you wouldn't be replaying it every night for a live audience. Remember, a live audience. Forget the Netflix. This was a play that he did. I binged it, and the bus shelter scene give me the creeps. Yeah, I agree, Nicola. It was bizarre. So, you got to look at all these things. This is how my brain works. My brain literally overthinks, and it runs through every possible scenario. And it's now going through all of these scenarios as I didn't think of this before the show, but when you think about it, he did the play. He was in his own play. Who would possibly be able to reenact that happening to them every night live remember, live at the Edinburgh Fringe, okay, before Netflix. That's how Netflix found him. He was doing the Edinburgh Fringe Festival. He did the RAPE one first, the play, reenacted his own version, and then the second play was the Martha. So this guy is literally, I'm the victim. He's done 2 plays where he's the victim both times, and he admits that he was master and the baiting to her. He is not right in the head. I'm sorry. Something about him, I don't get a good vibe from him at all. So we'll continue, but we're just got to keep these things in mind.
My interview with Fiona Harvey went from the moment we announced it. To put it in context, I think that I did one post on X just announcing I'd done the interview, and it's had, I think, 10 million views. Like, just one post on X. I mean, crazy numbers we were getting for all of this, and crazy numbers of people. I'm sure will watch it over the next week or so. But put into context for those who are not familiar with the whole baby reindeer phenomenon, how big has this been worldwide?
I mean, it's something that a lot of people are talking about, and I think it's just the nature of the medium. Like, sometimes certain things just go viral and absolutely take off way beyond what anyone expected. It was the same deal with something like Tiger King back during lockdown, an obscure documentary, but for some reason it just captured the public consciousness, and suddenly everyone was talking about it. And it just, every once in a while it happens, and it's definitely been one of those shows. I mean, it definitely helps that it's a very well acted show. It's well written. It's well produced. It's genuinely a good piece of drama, and it deals with a lot of interesting issues that are definitely worth talking about. So all of those things were working in its favor, and as a result, yeah, it's become probably way bigger than Netflix ever predicted that it would.
If it was a work of drama, and they said it's a fictional account, but maybe loosely based on something that may have happened, that's one thing. I think by Netflix going all in at the start, saying this is a true story, and by their executives going into Parliament and speaking under oath and saying this is a true story, and saying she was convicted, I don't think they've got the evidence to support that statement. And then saying that, we did everything we could to protect identity. No, you didn't. You chose an actress who looks very like her physically, and you made her speak very like her. And you made her behave and talk very like her. I know, because I've now sat down and interviewed the real Martha. We bring in Dr. Drew. Dr. Drew, you're one of the great psychologists I've ever met in my life. So give me a bit of psychoanalyst about all this.
Well, there's a lot going on here, Piers. Thank you for having me. By the way, your job in the interview was absolutely masterful, because people get very frustrated that somehow you're supposed to go at people when you question their veracity of what they're saying, when in fact the reality is what you want to do is exactly what you did: present the facts and then ask questions, express wonderment at what might be going on here. And she did slip up on the email. She did say, well, if I'd sent the email. So somebody sending 41,000 emails has got a problem. And there's sort of three possibilities. She's lying, she's truthful, or she has something called anosognosia, which is a block in the ability to see reality.
They found him.
Serious mental illness, serious
He's
personality
denying it,
disorders,
apparently.
literally distort reality and cannot assess it accurately.
And I mean, look, she was obviously very intelligent, no question of that. When you watched her, I mean, she spoke, we did an interview for 45 minutes. I wouldn't say I'm the easiest interview you're ever going to conduct in her kind of position, but I thought she conducted herself pretty formidably well, actually, all things considered. I don't think she's ever done a television interview before, and she was being held to account. And I don't think I held back with her, albeit I don't actually know where the truth lies. I don't want to go too hard or too soft. But what was your assessment of her as an individual?
Again, you can't know whether I've not assessed her, so I have no direct knowledge. And there really, as I said, three possibilities: truthful, lying, which is a volitional thing, or a severe personality disorder. Consider things like dissociative identity disorder, where people really don't even remember what they've been doing. So you're talking to somebody who's in a different reality. Those kinds of personality disorders can literally distort everything. And by the way, he has some evidence, the stuff as he is portrayed in the series, he has some significant stuff as well. So what he is portraying as reality may also be distorted.
And on the question, Drew, of stalkers generally, let's assume for a moment, she's guilty as they depict her in the thing. Most public figures have had experience with stalkers in some way. I know that you have. I know that I have. I know friends of mine who've had terrible experiences, really terrible. The BBC star who's now doing a podcast, Emily Maitlis, has had.
I'm a nobody, and I've got my own stalker. 6 years now, obsessed. Cannot go one day. Penny, 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 penny. Can't go one day without talking about me. Really bizarre, really strange. So I feel, I certainly wouldn't want to go and make a play about her. Really strange. There's just, Anyway, let's continue. I do want to. What I'm going to do at the end of this, I'm going to look at the Lorraine interview with him as well. But we haven't this, and then after tonight, we're going to be keeping an eye, because there's rumours that he is going to come on, that Richard Gadd's going to come on. I would really like to see that. I really would. I think if that happened, we'll break it down the night it's released. We'll watch it all together live. I don't think he was picking on her, Taylor. I think that is the victim brigade, as usual, coming out and saying, oh, he was too hard on her. It wasn't. She knew what she was letting herself in for, okay? She knew that. She went on there knowing who Piers Morgan is. She would have been briefed on the sort of questions that he's going to ask her. she was given a side across. I'm sorry, but all of this, oh, he was being too. He wasn't. He really wasn't. He was actually. I thought he conducted it really, really well. There's people like to be a victim these days. Everyone's a victim. I'm sorry, but whether it's true or not, she chose to go on there, and I thought that compared to some of the other people that he's interviewed, he was actually pretty soft on her. But he also got the questions in there, but he also did it in a way that he really did change his interview style to suit her, and I thought he did a really good job. I don't fall for this. I haven't watched any other channels talking about this. When I focus on a topic on my channel, like the Nicola Bulley case, I don't watch other YouTubers and what they're doing and what they're talking about. I remember during that, I was getting sent so many links every single day on email saying, "Can you watch this?" If I had time to watch all that, I wouldn't have time to do anything. I just don't have time to watch other YouTubers, and I haven't watched anybody else on this apart from this, what we're watching together. I think that if you're gonna be a viewer, then watch as many as you want and as many as you can, get different points of view. But if you're a YouTuber, if you start watching all the other channels and what they're talking about with the same topic, it can distort your opinion. That's just what I think. Anyway, let's keep going. Yeah, we'll watch the Richard Gadd after on Lorraine. Hopefully they won't copyright us.
It's had nearly 30 years of hell which has been documented through courts and stuff. Very, very hard to deal with these kinds of people when they do get fixated. How much of this kind of stalking goes on where it doesn't involve a sort of explicable attachment to somebody in the public eye, where maybe people watch people on television or entertainers, whatever, and they get obsessed with that? I can sort of understand that dynamic. It's harder to understand on a sort of local pub level where someone makes someone a cup of tea and all hell erupts from that moment. But is it more common than we think?
Oh, absolutely. A simple stalking, which is really what...
Is that right? New Hobby says, Cheryl, you said no more interviews. Now that to me proves that, again, he's lying, because he didn't realise that it was going to be this big. He's made his money now. He doesn't need to do any more interviews, and he knows if he does any more interviews that his lies are going to unravel. So he's going to stay quiet, take the money and do a runner. Yeah, £250 she got. Yeah, I'll probably put a video out or something on the last bits that I don't know, we'll see. If I can get enough articles together to wrap this up and do a part 3, I will. We'll see, because there is quite a lot of stuff that I've got that I could put in a video or put in a short live stream. But yeah, why won't he sit in front of Piers Morgan? He filmed that show. He had his own. He could take his breaks. He could say, "Oh, reshoot that bit. I didn't say that right," or where she was put under the. Yeah, it wasn't live. It wasn't recorded. Well, it was recorded and then put out, wasn't it? But she was put on the spot by Piers Morgan. Why won't he go under the spotlight with Piers Morgan without having his production team at Netflix be able to keep stopping and starting? I bet he won't do his play again now, because the play would be scrutinised and he would be probably too nervous now. He did the play when he wasn't heard of. He's made his money. He's made millions. He's off, I find that quite I find that very disingenuous, what he's done. I'd have more respect for him if he came on and sat through Piers Morgan. And by the way, I'm not one of these anti-man people. You're going to get some of these female YouTubers that are like really going in at the man and defending the woman. I'm not looking at gender. I'm looking at what I think's true and what's not. I'm not one of these anti-man, blame the men for everything type of people. But on this occasion, there's something not right with him. Like, she's clearly not all there, but she seems more like disassociative. What one of them panelists was saying, disassociative, where she doesn't quite know what's reality and what's not. He seems more psychopathic in the way that he knows what he's doing, he knows exactly what he's saying, and he doesn't give a shit. Lack of empathy, zero empathy. Because if this were true, why would you admit to Tommy tanking over a picture? That doesn't help. Doesn't help his case at all.
What this is a case of, it's people with personality disorders, which is something we have a lot of these days, who become obsessed, usually with a romantic attachment that is brief and then off it goes, and it can go for decades. And the object of the stalking needs to end all contact. Any negative contact, even with law enforcement, tends to actually exacerbate things. So there's two ends of the stalking spectrum. One is called simple stalking, which is not so simple. And the other end is psychotic stalking. And psychotic stalking is what I had. Somebody who was actually a meth addict had a delusion.
Alex Belfield got done for simple stalking. It was the first ever conviction in the UK of simple stalking. And simple stalking doesn't mean it's simple. It basically means there's no physical involvement. So you've done it all online. So, you know, talking, harassing, constantly going on, defamation. I know slander is a civil matter, but if you're constantly running lies about somebody, you are putting out their information, you are making videos on them, all sort of digital. That is what they call simple stalking, and you can get convictions for that. Alex Belfield was the first one. My stalker's done way more than Alex Belfield ever did. I'm not an Alex Belfield fan, but compared to what he did, it was nothing compared to what others do. So just saying. But that was simple stalking. This is physical, sitting outside the house. You know, she said she has a lawyer, Taylor. I find that bizarre. So I've got an amazing lawyer. Who is it? I'm not going to say. I've got a boyfriend. I'm not going to say. I think that you're living in La La Land there, love.
About a relationship with me. And those guys, you actually can grab. Law enforcement's very good at getting those and bringing them into treatment, and they get better. But the ones with the personality disorders can just go on almost interminably.
Right. Mark Garrigus, I want to play a clip from Fiona Harvey watching the court scene from the Netflix drama. There's one key point in the drama that has Martha's character pleading guilty to intimidating Richard Gadd in court and sentenced to 9 months prison time. Let's watch.
You're charged with the stalking of Mr. Donald Dunn between the dates of the 14th of August 2015 and the 22nd of March 2017. Are you guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
You are charged with the harassment of Gerald Dunn and Eleanor Dunn between the dates of the 6th of June 2016 and the 22nd of March 2017.
Did you notice that she didn't look shocked as well when she said guilty? If somebody was playing me in my true life and it wasn't true and I'd never seen it, I don't believe she's not seen it. Come on. Like, yeah, I ignore my trolls, but if someone did a fucking Netflix show on me, you would watch it, wouldn't you? Because you'd have to watch it. So you could pick out the bits that, you know, you want to sue. And she doesn't even look shocked. But I noticed that when they were saying the dates, her eyeballs were going nuts. And I think what she's doing here, because she's pretty clever, she's going to pick out the if the dates were wrong, even if they were out slightly, she's then going to run with the dates are wrong, because that's what a prolific liar will do. They will pick out the bits that are definitely not true and focus on the bits that aren't true, because then they in their mind, they're telling the truth. Then when they're saying that's not true, the bits that really aren't true, that they can easily cover the lie. So she's going to look for anything, any inconsistent, like the 41,000 emails. She knows there weren't 41,000. I don't think there was. There might have been 39. There might have been 40. There might have been one. I don't know. But that exact number wasn't true, and you can see it, that she's picking out the bits that she knows. Because if you're lying and you want to pass a lie detector, or you want to look like you're telling the truth, at least you need to believe that you're telling the truth. And if she can pick out the bits that she knows aren't true, then she can come across as genuine. That's what she's doing there. That's why her eyeballs are going nuts. But let's see what she says.
Are you guilty or not guilty?
Guilty. A little reindeer.
Now, again, there is obviously a resemblance between.
Do you think so?
Well, a bit, but
That's hardly flattering.
Well, I don't mean to flatter you or not flatter you. I just think there is a resemblance, having met you, and you both speak Scottish people.
Yeah.
But the fundamental point of this is, did you take part in that? So did you go to jail? Did you have a trial?
Of course not. Of course not.
Have you ever been to prison?
No.
Have you ever been charged with a
Nowhere
criminal
near it.
offence?
No.
Never.
No.
Nothing.
Nothing.
So that scene is completely invented.
That's completely false.
Now, Mark Garrigus, what's interesting is the other charge there, where she's supposedly admitting to that as well, involved a woman and her MP husband, who she worked briefly for the legal firm and then apparently harassed them for a long time afterwards. She emphatically denies that, but it appears that at worst there, she may have been served some kind of interim legal thing, but certainly it never got as far as anything to do with a courtroom or any charging of any criminal offence, or let alone a conviction. So again, there are two separate things here, both of which she emphatically denies, and both of which so far there is zero evidence that she ever went into court. So let's talk just about, before I get to that, the duty of care aspect for a company like Netflix, one of the most successful media companies in the world, in fact, in history, raking in billions of dollars a year. What kind of duty of care do they have if they slap "this is a true story" over something like this, and it turns out it may not be true?
Well, it's almost inexplicable that they would allow an executive to go and testify, that they would then have this as a central feature of the series, and then would just concoct this. I mean, I'm dealing with now, and I've dealt with in the past, their legal department, and it's about as robust as you can get. So both their in-house counsel and their outside counsel. So a lot of this does not make sense to me, or has some kind of, there's something peculiar going on. Even her reaction, though, to watching that seemed just a wee bit peculiar to me as well. So there seems to echo some of your other guests here, there seems to be a something that is there that we haven't discovered yet, and that the truth has not come out here in terms of what actually happened.
Yeah, everything about it. I'm starting to lean more and more with they're in it together. I really am. Hi, Hedge.
Because I cannot believe Netflix and their legal team has let this go this far.
We did ask Netflix for a response. They decided not to comment. I mean, Paula, there was also there's a graphic male rape scene in there, but it involves a lot of heavy-duty drug taking leading up to it, which Richard Gadd is very honest about. So he had a lot of problems. He had a lot of sexual experimentation, a lot of drug taking, and so on. That's not to say the rape didn't happen, but what did happen as a consequence of this, again, pertaining to the duty of care aspect, is that rather than the actual person who is believed to have committed the rape being identified, somebody else in the television industry was wrongly identified, smeared all over social media. He also got threats and unwanted attention. How do we know
it wasn't him, though?
And the real person has not yet been identified. So the whole thing is a complete mess. But this idea that Netflix went out of their way...
They're saying, right, okay, now he's just said the wrong person was identified. How do we know that? I'm not saying it was the right or the wrong, but how do we know it was the wrong person? Because Richard Gadd is going to deny it, isn't he? If they say, "Oh, we've worked out it was this one," well, of course he's going to. If it was the real one, Richard Gadd's going to get in serious trouble then. So he's going to go, "No, that wasn't him," and then the person's going to deny it. So it could have been him. You know, doesn't mean nothing. How do we know it wasn't him? If it was or it wasn't him, they're going to deny it anyway. So it probably was, you know. They're gonna deny it. This is just such a bizarre story. It is so bizarre that there's so much to break down. There's too much to. Just the whole thing, like, it would have made more sense if they'd done it as two separate stories. So Richard Gadd, as like I said, it was two separate plays. So what they could have done was said, okay, we want to buy the plays, and we'll do one and then we'll do the other. They could have done the RAPE one first, because that's apparently what happened first, and then the other one. He didn't tell anybody about that at first. And then the stalking one. But they put it together. They put them both together. It doesn't make any sense. And I remember I got to episode 3 and Al came in, my hubby, and I said, it's really good, this is. And then it started going a bit pear-shaped, and he came in and I said, it's going a bit pear-shaped now. And I said, I don't think, because I was going, you're going to love this. And then I said, actually, maybe you won't love this. I said, I don't think you should watch this. I thought, yeah, in no way is he going to want to watch this. And he said, why? And I told him briefly. He said, what the hell has that got to do with stalking? I said, I have no idea. And then the way they tried to play it down towards the end was they showed that because if he didn't go to the police over that, then that explains why he didn't go to the police over her, because that was more serious. That doesn't brush with me. And he's basically making money off his RAPE then, and he's allowing a perpetrator to continue doing it. If that's true, if that were true, how many others has he done it to? The person who he says did it. Since then, since what was it? He came out with it in 2015, but I think it happened before he even met her, from what I've been reading. So it's just so strange, isn't it? It's so bizarre. And even people that don't normally watch Netflix are now getting Netflix for this. And it is a good watch. It really is. Okay, let's continue.
Their way to protect people who they were depicting, I think, is for the birds, frankly.
There are a lot of
It's
concerns.
it's kind of interesting, sorry to jump in there, that they were able to identify this woman within a matter of hours, a relatively obscure private citizen, and yet this person who committed the rape against Richard Gadd, who's presumably a public figure and quite senior and well known, nobody seems to have been able to track down the real person.
Well, and Richard Osman has said on his podcast that everyone knows who it is, including him.
Yeah.
I mean, I would have thought someone should say then, well, who is this person? Or at the very least go to the authorities and have this properly investigated.
Exactly.
So again, Paula, it's all a mess. I mean, I watched it, and Richard Gadd is obviously quite a damaged guy. He's obviously he's talented. He's obviously had a lot of success with this. But it's an interesting journey. He started
How
off.
can you go to the authorities when he's blown the whole case wide open by portraying it in a play? What was it? In the Edinburgh Fringe, and then was it Debbie? Hi, Deb said that it went down to Shepherd's Bush in London. Like, we'll look at that at the end when we finish this. We'll have a quick look at the Lorraine. I'll probably have to just flick through that because ITV, and then we'll have a look at the play. Well, I probably won't get time to do that. How long have I been on? Hold on a sec. Don't know. Well, we'll see how the time goes. We'll see. If I run out, we'll just continue it another night, either tomorrow or the next night. So let's continue. But I wanted to hear more experts. And so far, we are 25 in. And all I've heard from is critical thinker guy. Well, anyone can be a critical thinker. I want to hear from the lie detector type people that can tell a liar. They can spot them. And I haven't heard anything from them right now. Come on, let's hear them. Or is that a different show? We'll find out.
Doing it on stage in front of small audiences.
Yes.
And it could be that he just saw an opportunity, which is what Fiona Harvey told me, to make a lot of money out of this, and didn't ever consider the potential consequences of not everything being completely true.
Dealing first of all with Netflix and their duty of care, there are a lot of question marks, aren't there, Piers? First of all, did they consult with any stalking organisations, for example, to understand what the impact of this show was going to have on the wider audience?
Apparently they did. So on that they did. But what they cannot get away from is that they have this actress and they have Fiona Harvey, and they look like they could be pretty similar people. And they're both speaking Scottish. The actress is not actually Scottish, but she speaks in a Scottish accent, very similar to Fiona Harvey. And a lot of the stuff that they put on screen, which includes actual phraseology, which came directly from tweets, which Fiona Harvey had posted. So that's how the sleuths found her. They just put in things like the curtains quote and so on, and up she came straight away. Turned out she was retweeting me quite a lot as well at the time. So she was quite an active social media user, but people found her in 10 seconds.
Yes.
That's not a duty of care.
Well, then the next question mark is, in terms of that duty of care, when they were considering this project, as it would have been then, why choose the entertainment route as opposed to the documentary route? And what were the questions that were being asked about that? Because you have to understand that as a viewer, what we are being told is that we are sitting down and watching crude entertainment. We are being told that this is a true story. It's a harrowing story. And I just wonder if this was really going to be about showing, evidencing somebody who had been severely harassed, suffered, countless criminal actions against them and against others, why they didn't choose to go down.
I mean, we spoke to her, our team spoke to her today, and Esther, she is still getting bombarded with phone calls. People found her number very easily. And she's getting a lot of threats from people who believe that she is this psycho stalker who got convicted for the psycho stalking without there actually being so far any evidence. And you got to think, if Netflix had any evidence she had been convicted, we'd have seen it by now.
Yes.
It's a pretty serious thing to put at the end of a true story series if that turns out not to have happened.
Yeah, and you have to wonder why Netflix decided to go down the route of calling it a true story. I hate to draw parallels here with the royal family, but I feel like this is kind of like a Meghan, Harry royal family search, because you have one party speaking their truth and going to the media and saying whatever they want, and you have the other party that is probably not going to say anything just because of protocol and what is expected of them. I actually think Netflix banked on the fact that Martha, real life Martha, would never actually speak out.
Right.
I don't think they banked on the fact that she would do an interview and say her side of the story and say, listen, none of this happened, at least not in the way that it's being depicted. There are no convictions.
Well, let me bring in Dr. Drew on this point, which is Richard Gadd himself is a self-confessed, very damaged guy. He admits that very openly, honestly. Yes. He took a lot of drugs. You see that depicted in the series. He had relationships with trans women. He had relationships with gay men, with straight women, and so on. He admits to a lot of experimentation with that, a lot of it fueled by drugs and so on. How reliable a witness is he to even his own life?
No, absolutely. That was a point I made a few minutes ago, which is that he is also distorted in his, not just memory, but his actual perception of reality. Just take the reckless drug use. That is enough to lay down complete distortions of what was actually happening at the time.
That's what I said, didn't I? Didn't I say it the other night? All that drug use. We're not talking the odd bit of crack or the odd bit of this. We're talking crazy stuff that most people would never even go near, just as the build up to the final crescendo when he bought that special box out, this Holy Grail thing that even this guy had never seen. There's no way that anyone could be that off their face and say that they were, that this happened. Nobody knows what would happen if you were on that. He says he woke up with a sore bum. But he doesn't even know whether he's off his face. He doesn't know what happened. He could have instigated it. I just found that whole thing really, really bizarre. The whole thing. And it's like he's bragging that he's allowed an rapist to walk free. It's like he's bragging about it. You wouldn't do that, would you? You'd want to get them. You want to stop them to stop other people. He comes across as very godlike complex, if that makes any sense, you know? Like he can decide whether this person is convicted or not.
Plus the recurrent traumas, plus he must have some characterological things going on as well from all those traumas. Think about being a trauma survivor, particularly in childhood trauma. His father was a trauma survivor. These things have a way of recurring themselves. And the distortions of how they happen can be profound. So who knows where the truth actually is? It's going to be very difficult to tell. But you were zeroing in on the one thing, which is what is the evidence? Let's look at the emails. Let's look at the letters. Let's look at the court documents and see what actually there is hard evidence of.
And if there is actually a court, if she does sue them and it gets to discovery, then all this will come out, because I can't believe she's been able to, if it is her that sent all this stuff. I mean, I thought actually the crucial thing for me.
Sorry, I'm just reading the chat here. Yeah, I'm talking about the RAPE case, that alone. Like, he's saying that he was, you know, that happened to him in the hotel room. But how would he know what happened to him in the hotel? I'm going back to that now, not the Martha thing, because remember, it was all mixed up in one show, like 7 episodes. So how does he know that actually happened if he was off his face, you know? Oh, no, I'm sorry to hear that, Hedge. The boy bought some scarlet fever. What? Are you a lady then? I just checked Netflix. It's classed as a drama programme, British comedy. Wow. It did do before, Susan. I can guarantee that the night it came out, it said that. Yeah, but if you're off your face on drugs like that, how can you say that you were RAPE'd? Because that's what he said. So they've changed it then. Docudrama, I think it was said at the first time it came on.
Well, the handwritten letters, because Richard Gag claims to have 106, I think. She admitted to sending him 1. Well, it's very easy for experts to look at I'm sure Mark Garagos, let me just bring you in quickly on this point. It's very easy, isn't it, for experts to look at a handwritten letter and compare to 105 others and work out whether they're all the same person.
You almost don't even need an expert for that. It's that's so. And you can do requests for admissions, you can do a document production, and if they don't have it, that's a real problem.
Critical thinker. You are a critical thinker, but crucially, you're also a critical drinker. And look, you're in Scotland. What's the vibe in Scotland? The Daily Record today splashed on an interview with her about my interview with her. Obviously, a lot of interest. But what's the general feeling about this?
I mean, I don't claim to speak for all the people of Scotland on this interview, but you know, both of the people that were involved in this were Scottish anyway. So I think there's just general interest in the case. It's stirred up a lot of interest and discussions about.
He looks really familiar. Is he an actor? He just looks like an actor. Hi, Paula. The last time I looked, I'm a male. Okay, I thought you was a male, but then when you said that, I thought, oh, maybe it's a mom. Gizmo is here now. He's just having a doggy choc. Yeah, little doggy button, aren't you? Yeah. Maybe he'll say a few words at the end. He's a film. He just looks like somebody then, I think.
You know, the whole nature of stalking, the fact that it can happen to men as well as women. And I guess that's a useful conversation to have. It's a useful realization to have.
And what about the people who say immediately to me the moment I announced I was doing the interview, how dare you exploit a mentally ill woman? What would you, having watched the interview, do you think that's the way it came over?
I mean, it's not my place to make a ruling on her mental state when it comes to this stuff. If she came forward as a functioning adult who was able to make her own decisions and decided she wanted to do the interview, that's her decision. It's not for me to say whether she should have or not.
I also think that's quite unfair, because you're making a judgment of her mental health based on basically what's looking more like a fictionalized series.
And also, her whole point of doing the interview is that she believes she has been exploited by Richard Gadd, by Netflix, and by Clerkenwell Films. That's why she did the interview. She thinks she's been deliberately exploited. Let's take a look at another clip. This is her talking about the money being made here.
Can I ask a question? Do you happen to know how much she's made out of this Netflix thing?
I would imagine several million pounds.
Yes, I would say 3 to 4 million. A lawyer I know well thought he was a wee nobody, and he suggested 750 to 100,000. I said, no, I think you're looking more about 3 or 4 million. And I think the more he publicises, it goes up. According to how much it's streamed.
Actually.
I don't know the contract they signed. I think he's done bloody well out of defaming.
Do you resent that?
I don't resent any Scot getting on. This is not what this is about.
Yeah.
But he's effectively making money out of what he says.
He's making money out of
what
my
he says is
misery,
you stalking him.
Yeah, he's making money out of untrue facts.
Paula, I mean, what's interesting is a Daily Mail journalist interviewed her, and then she did start to bombard him
Apparently
with
so.
calls. You know, he says he got over 50 calls in a few hours and so on. So that is indicative of somebody who may have done this before. It doesn't mean she necessarily did everything she's accused of doing, but it's interesting.
It is interesting. What else is interesting that I found from your interview is that she was able to recognise herself, she says, from when the baby reindeer was a theatre show. Yeah. And I found that quite intriguing because I didn't understand why somebody who considered themselves to not have anything to do with a gentleman, to have perhaps met them 5 or 6 times, to have perhaps sent 1 letter, to have perhaps sent 5 or 6 emails, would then suddenly be able to recognise themselves from a theatre show.
Yeah.
I wasn't clear about how she made that link.
Over an off-the-cuff comment about the baby reindeer as well.
But interestingly, she did.
Yeah.
Interestingly, she has
admitted
gone
that.
on
She admitted
to
that she
identify herself, as well as I accept being identified by the sofa sleuths.
Yeah.
But she has also continued to identify herself as being that character. The only person we're yet to hear from identify her as that character is Richard Gadd. Now, when we talk about Richard making money out of this, do I have a problem with that? Not particularly. There's lots of criminals, even who are serving sentences,
but hang on.
who will make money.
I do have a problem if he has invented her conviction for stalking him. I think if he's making a lot of money out of a false narrative.
Yes.
And Mark Garagos, again, coming back to the legality of this is why I think she may have, if what she's saying is correct about that, I think that you may conclude watching the interview, look, I don't think she's telling the truth here, and here. But on that central point, if she is able to establish beyond any doubt that she was not convicted of any offence, let alone admitted, and has never been to court in relation to any of this stuff, I think she has a pretty open and shut case.
Well, there's nothing that I've ever seen that's open and shut, but I will tell you this, it's about as close to a slam dunk if that's true. But I'll tell you, there's some just peculiar reactions. There's some peculiar things. And like I said before, the robust in-house and outside counsel that they have, I just cannot believe that everybody dropped the ball on this. That just seems unbelievable to me.
I mean, that's the real scandal here. Netflix. I mean,
I'll tell you what. I've asked. Listen, I'm a big fan of Netflix. I watch it all the time. I think it's run.
I am really shocked that we are almost at the end of this, and all we've done is had opinions from panelists. We haven't had anyone breaking down. I did more of a breakdown, and I'm not a bloody expert. I want to know what are you doing, Gizmo? Whether was I right with what I said? I'd be very interested to know, the bits that I thought she was lying on, the bits that I thought I was expecting that. This has not been that. This could have been me getting a handful of people up to give their opinion. Well, I thought they were going to have like a lie person who can tell. I don't know. Maybe he's a bit scared to do it because in case he gets in trouble. The thing is as well that now, hopefully this doesn't happen, but touch wood, it doesn't. What if she did something to herself? Is he going to get the blame? There's that as well. But I don't think she will. She doesn't seem the type to me. But yeah, I'm a bit disappointed in this, but let's watch it till the end.
Right. Very smart guys. I know some of them personally. If they want to come on and talk about this, absolutely, we have an open platform to hear their side of events. I'd love to know what Richard Gadd told them, or whether they relied on everything he said and what evidence he gave them. And, you know, maybe, as she said, maybe he's concocted some of this himself. I don't know. I don't think any of us can say with any real certainty at the moment exactly what we think has happened here, or how much of either account is true. And that's what makes it, of course, as Critical Drinker rightly said, it makes it such a talked about thing, because there are so many unanswered questions. And, you know, I always come back to Richard Gadd admits that he did lead her on quite a lot, that he did perform sex acts to her picture on his laptop.
What are you doing,
That's weird.
Gizmo?
I mean, I don't care what your view of the whole thing is, but that doesn't say to me that you're necessarily.
That's not good enough. I feel like he's dressing it up. Just because you admit, oh, I may have done something wrong, or I may not have been in the best mental state, doesn't mean you get to basically lie about her criminal convictions. That's what I have the biggest issue with.
Whereas my big issue in listening to this, and I'm a little bit uncomfortable with some of the things that I've heard you say, Piers.
Like what?
For example, that he was using drugs. For
He admits
example,
it.
well, yes, but why is that?
It's in the series.
Yes, I know that. I've watched it. But what I'm concerned about is the vulnerable people who may be watching this, who are thinking, oh, okay, my skirt was a little bit too short. Oh, okay, maybe I had too much to drink. So
I don't think that's
not what I said.
That's why I'm saying this. That's why I'm saying this.
I was going to that.
Really
don't misquote me. I was going to his credibility, and whether, if you take a lot of hard drugs for a sustained period of time, as he openly shows us he did, then that can affect, as Dr. Drew rightly said, and Mark Garagos, I'm sure, would say the same in a court of law. It obviously impacts on your credibility.
He also referenced why he thought that he had been abused and why he thought he had been raped. And when you watch the show, he explains.
On a general point, I think the Baby Reindeer is an unbelievably compelling watch.
So what I agree. What Piers is what I was saying. If you're that off your face, then your testimony would struggle in a court of law. Now, if this was the other way around and it was a woman, and a woman said that she was off her face willingly, you know, not spiked, willingly took, you may be coerced, but took all these drugs, and then 10 years later came out with it, I don't think they'd get a conviction there, you know. So look, was it not a lot of cases of women getting attacked end up in conviction, and that is when they go straight to the police. So there's no way on earth that if he said he was off his face on DMT that they would take him seriously, because they wouldn't take a woman seriously either. He didn't say he was spiked. He said he took it. Yeah, he might have been like coerced a little bit, like, go on, just have some, but he knew what he was doing and he gladly took it. I find like this top right woman annoying as hell. Like, okay, one more then. Sorry, I'm just giving Gizmo chamomile. He's had his choc. He wants his what's it now? He's a chamomile treat. You know, but I don't know. I just find the whole thing really, really strange, because he is basically making money off his violation. And she's saying, that top right woman saying, well, if you watch the show, it's so bum. That's what she's trying to say. But then you're saying that the show isn't true in some parts. So you can't pick and choose. If the show isn't completely true, then none of the show is true. None of it can be true. It might be true, but you can't pick and choose which bits you want to be true or not. How do we know he had a sore bum? You know? This is what I'm saying. It doesn't make any sense. None of this makes any sense. And then let's not forget, if you haven't watched the show, he then goes up to his parents to tell them that he is now bi, because this thing, what happened to him, which made him bi, which is a new one on me, to be honest. And he reckons that she was ringing his dad and abusing his dad, and his dad was telling her to F off. Now, there'd be call logs, surely, because she was leaving voice notes and voicemails and, you know, on the answering machine. And people are saying, well, Netflix must have all this proof. Well, not necessarily, because they haven't produced the conviction, have they? I think that Netflix are going to have to pay out a big, hefty wad of money, and I think they're going to have to put the bloody price up to pay for this. It'll be us lot that suffers because the price has gone up and up and up and up. It's ridiculous, the cost of Netflix now compared to what it used to be. It's like double, triple or something. And if they have to pay out the UK arm, then who's going to suffer? Us lot.
One of the things that's said. If you sat and watched it as I did at the weekend, it is completely compelling, brilliantly acted, very well written, very powerful. But is it drama or is it reality? And that's the reality of the debate. Let me just go to Critical Drinker about the possibility. Of course, when a streamer has a massive hit like this, the natural inclination normally is to order the sequel. Are we going to see the sequel? And if so, am I going to be in it? And if so, what are the chances of getting Brad Pitt?
Who is going to play you? Indeed. Yeah, I mean, we could have now Martha's Revenge, where she goes on this trip to clear her name. You don't know where they could potentially take it. But yeah, when you get something of this level of success, they're either going to try and continue the story, or they're going to try and do things in a similar vein. It'll become a series of true life stories of revenge or stalking, or whatever you want to call it. So yeah, there's a lot of potential there, and if they can make money out of it, I'm sure they will.
Listen, thank you to all of you. A brilliant panel, I have to say. I thought you all were great on this.
I thought you were absolutely shit, and my breakdown as an unprofessional YouTuber was far better, in my opinion. Just give me a moment. We're going to get on. We're going to try and find the Lorraine one in a minute. Yeah, Gizmo is not. He's a baby. He's not entitled, but he is from royal blood. You know. Oh, hang on. We've had an Aurora update. Hold on. Right, we're up to yellow on the Aurora, but I am hearing, like, we did go up to red earlier. We just got to keep an eye on the Aurora watch. When I posted it last week, and I was right, it went nuts, and it was all over the news then. But we've been all over this shit on this channel, mine and this my other channel, for a long time. So if I see any, major red alerts that go for more than one, I'll be letting you know, because we've got to keep an eye on this Aurora. Anyway, let's have a look here. I haven't seen the Lorraine one, so let's have a look. They don't like it, ITV, BBC, arseholes. All right, Mo. Oh, you're liking that, aren't you, bud? I'm going to get you some more. Oh, right. Videos. Well, that's interesting. Just give me a minute. Look at this, guys. Look at this. What's the date of this? This is before it. This will be interesting. If this came out before the show came out, I'm going to have to let go of that a minute, Mo, okay? So it looks like that this was the interview before Baby Reindeer got massive. Hold on a sec. Just take that a minute, Mo. I need both hands a minute. I hate it when they say 1 month ago. Hang on. The 17th of April. What date did it come out? Do we know? Do we know what date Baby Reindeer came out, guys? Can somebody have a quick look on the internet? Yeah, 2024, 2025. I will have a look. It's okay. Just give me a sec. What are you doing? Can you ask him to be quiet? Right. So yeah, it wasn't before it. It was after it. But I have got another interview here, so we can look at this. But again, I'll have to keep pausing it. This isn't the Lorraine one. This is this morning. Now it'd been only been on a week, but by this point, so this was before Fiona was going on to Piers and all that. So here we go. which she denies. But remember, this is why I wanted to see this, because this is when it had only been out. Pepper's not aged very well, has he, eh? Hi, Bridget, love. Oh, two Bridgets coming at the same time, Bridget 1 and Bridget 2.
It got pretty relentless. At one stage, it was like an assault on all senses across all media.
No fighting who's Bridget number 1, okay? You're both equal. In the interviews, before she got found, this was the 17th, 6 days after release. He was very happy to do the interview tour and push his show. Yeah, he was loving it. And then once, like, when I say she got found early on, but no one knew whether it was her. Now, he still hasn't confirmed whether that's even the same. He hasn't even confirmed whether that is her. He hasn't admitted it. For all we know, it's not even, you know, it could be some random Scottish woman making it up. It's obviously not. But thank you, Daisy. The point I'm trying to make is that we don't know. Like, he hasn't even come out and said that this is her, which is what I don't understand. I find this really, really bizarre. But he's all for it here. And then as soon as the shit goes down and she starts denying it, he's done a runner. He's off. He's off. I just want to go back to the Lorraine one. Just give me a sec. I'll just leave a little bit of this somewhere I find it.
It felt too easy to do a cup of tea.
Right, let me just cut that off a sec, and then we're just going to go on to the Lorraine one. Again, I've got to be really careful because, honestly, they're being so OTT. Like, I know that they want to make content. I'm not monetized. I'm not making any money off any of this. But ITV and BBC, they go through your content. They've been through it from years ago and chose bits and said, oh, well, this is ours. You can't monetize this. I wasn't monetizing it anyway. So I just know what they're like. I friended Fiona on Facebook, but I bet a lot of people have. God has destroyed that woman, and then typical bloke runs off. Yeah. It's bad, isn't it? Thanks, Bev. Yeah, it's on Netflix. Right. It's this. Let me just see. When was this? You're enjoying that, aren't you, Mo? Right. This was the 18th. So when was the last interview that he did? Does anybody know the most recent one? I'd like to watch his most recent one. Oh, has he not done any since he did that with since she's come on? I bet he's disappeared, hasn't he? Anyone know the date of when Martha did hit? Was it a week ago? Right. But then when all this stuff happened with the old plague-a-roo and her and that Dr. Shillery were really pushing it. Nah. Anyone know the last time he did an interview? You see here, it's only been going a week. This is before she's been officially tracked down. People were saying it could be her, but yeah, she's very fake, very, very fake. I liked her in the olden days, in the olden days, but that was in the 80s, 90s.
Always knew Jessica.
That's what I'm
was
looking
going to be
for
great
as
idea.
well.
Brilliant
That was the play. I'm going to be looking at and doing some digging into that as well.
drama. You always knew Jessica was going to be.
Yeah.
Oh, so they're friends apparently. This is interesting. Oh yeah, we watched it. We broke that down, Bridget, 2 nights ago. We watched the entire thing, and then we've just broke down bits of it again with the panel, and now we're just catching this interview here.
You always wanted Jessica for this part.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd always seen Jess in various different shows and always thought that every role.
Because if you remember on the interview with Piers, Fiona really didn't like her, did she? You could, she's made money off it. She knows what she's doing. So this is interesting because he is saying, and look at how they're looking at each other. I think these pair have got something going on. It's all right, Bridget, my love. Yeah, look at the way she's looking at him. Yeah. Right. Okay. Now they've known each other a long time, and she had to do the Scottish accent for this. You would have thought he would have got a Scottish actress. He didn't. He got her. I think there's something going on with these two. He's just said he knew all along that he wanted her to play Martha. And the way that she's looking at him right now, I don't know whether it's reciprocated, but she's in love.
You brought this kind of amazing nuance to it. Always elevated everything you were
It
in.
was only a week after it came out, okay? It was big, but now it's just gone to number 2. It did 4 weeks at number 1. So she is giving him Martha vibes. I agree, Bridget, love. So it was big here, but real life Martha hadn't done her Piers interview, and it hadn't been out as long, and it was big, but it was even bigger now. And I really want to see him before it got really big, which is why I want to watch this. I really do want to see how he is, and I would love to watch him squirm now Martha's come out. I really would, because there's something not right about him, and I couldn't understand why Martha hated her, because if you listen to with Piers, she was like, and she's as bad as him, and she's making money off it, and she was quite angry at her. And I thought, well, she's just an innocent actress. But if these two are close, then that would explain why old Martha has got her knickers in a twist, wouldn't it? He's lying. I remember when I was getting stalked in real life, and I thought, this is nothing like the television. Fuck off. No, I'm sorry. I haven't seen this interview before. This, yeah. We go with the God complex. He is doing this to help others that are going through this. Yeah. Anyone else seeing straight through this guy, because I am. And that haircut, man. I hate this haircut. I seen a kid the other day with one. Not quite like that, but where it's shaved underneath and all floppy on the top, and then it's coming over the edges. It just looks, it's just wrong in every way. It's just stupid. His hair's stupid. Sort your hair out, man.
Less alone, and so these messages that I'm getting from people.
Someone's put a bowl on his head and just cut round it and then just shave the back. To put the link in, because under the fair use thingy. Oh my god, where's the link? Here we go. Copy. That was hard. That was really difficult. I really cannot stand that woman. Okay. Yeah, something about him. Let me just have a really quick look at something. Right, just bear with me. So I'm just having a quick look at his play, because I want to look at stuff from before he got famous. That's what I'm intrigued about. I always like to go back, because people bullshit now to because of the success. But this is actually a recent article, but it's got about his history. So it says here, huge congratulations are in order for 1 year course alumni, Richard Gadd, creator, writer and star of the huge Netflix baby Reindeer. If anything like course, you're likely to have binged the entire series. As part of his final term at the Oxford School of Drama. So we went through there. Richard performed in Defining Moments of Truth and Deception at the Soho Theatre in London. Remember, he's an actor as well. So that's another thing you can't tell whether he's telling the truth. When you've got an actor playing a true life story of himself. So he graduated from the Oxford School of Drama in 2012. He went on to appear many more times at the Soho Theatre with a series of stand-up shows that he wrote and performed. Apparently, he was really not very funny between 2014 and 2016. So I think this is when it happened, the abuse or violation. In 2016, Richard showed Monkey See, Monkey Do, which I think was in the show, the Netflix show. They premiered Edinburgh Fringe and won the highly coveted Edinburgh Comedy Award. No, that wasn't that then. Right. David's first. Right. 2019 Fringe. He debuted his first solo theatre show. So Baby Reindeer did come first. Now, I read yesterday that the other one was first, but apparently Baby Reindeer was first. The show took the Fringe by storm. Richard won the Stage Award for Outstanding Performance and the Fringe First Award for Best Writing. Well, how can you do a writer if it's real? So that's the poster for his show. Written and performed by Richard Gadd, and 31st, 25th August, 65 minutes. Okay. And then he won the Oliver Awards for his show. So this is all about it. They're saying congratulations. He's come from their drama school. So that, just trying to see if I can find. See if he's still doing his tours. Live comedy dates. We have no listings. I bet you don't. He's gone. He's done a runner. You won't see him anymore. Right, okay. That brings part 2 to a close. We'll watch this space, yeah? Now, there are a few other things that I want to... there's a few articles that I want to look at and stuff, which I will... Let me just get into this. Okay, I'm back. She's a mom from Yorkshire. She sounded pretty northwest then. Maybe she's on the border, like Halifaxy area. They always confuse me. Hi, Willie Hayden. Yeah, I don't know what you guys think. I think the jury's out. I think when we have our next open panel, which I'm not sure when that's going to be, but when we have our next open panel, what I'll be doing is I'll be bringing up a topic to discuss. If we just have an open panel, open topic, we get people usually come up and argue. And if we have like a topic and then people can come up and discuss that topic, that will be on one of the topics. We will not see him again in a court of law. I don't know. It's watch this space. Let me just quickly see whether there's anything else on Piers Morgan's YouTube channel. Just give me a sec. No, not you. Shut up. So, watch your space. Now, like I said to you before, if it turns out that she... Hang on a minute. What's this here? Oh. If it turns out she's got her own Netflix show, I think we need to be extremely suspicious. Right. Piers Morgan's put a video out 3 hours ago. Let me just... What's this about? Just give me a sec. Let me just get this up. I'm not even subbed to him, I don't think. Well, apparently it was listed as a limited series. I'm not subbed to him. So that means there's going to be no more. But that being said, they could do another one and it would just be another limited series, which isn't a part 2. It's just the opposite, you know. Let's watch this space. Let's see whether she plays herself and gets...
Welcome to a special edition of Morgan's Mailbag.
Right, we're just want to see this. Hold on a sec.
Today is all about just one interview.
This show is incredible.
Baby reindeer.
He got absolutely obsessed.
Our beef curtains.
I did not move. Everybody is talking about baby reindeer.
Now fans are trying to find the real people behind the story.
Because it does depict real life events.
It's flown up so quickly and so fast all around the world that I didn't expect it.
Look down the barrel of that camera. To people who still doubt you, what do you say to them? Yes, my one-on-one with Fiona Harvey, aka the real Martha from Baby Reindeer, has been watched more than 12 million times on our uncensored YouTube channel, and literally tens of millions more across other social platforms. It's also provoked hundreds of thousands of comments, reactions, questions, and hot takes from the media world, which tend to be often...
And more importantly, it's caused the Penny Bunny channel to discuss it. Very, took off very well there, Piers.
Pretty cold. I'll be reacting to a selection of those, but before we get started, a quick reminder of the interview that got the whole world talking. What do you hope to achieve in this interview?
I came on your show because you're a veteran broadcaster. I think you'll give me a fair hearing. I find it quite obscene. I find it horrifying, misogynistic. Some of the death threats have been really terrible online. I don't think I've said him anything.
You're basically accusing both him but also Netflix of lying about it.
I am.
Did you go to jail? Did you have a
No,
trial?
of course not. Of course not.
Did Netflix ever contact you?
No, no one's contacted me.
Never.
Never.
What do you feel about Richard Gere?
I think he's psychotic.
Looking how popular that when he did the play, I don't think because he got oh, this is what I think's happened. My personal opinion with Netflix, because he did the play for so long and no one did anything, right? This woman didn't come forward when she's just said that she knew he did the play. When no one come forward and he did the play and there was no lawyers involved. Guys, the hedgehogs are here. Hold on. The hedgehogs. Do you want to listen to them? They're so funny. Hang on. This is important. No, I'm not going. No, you stay there, Gizmo's got to follow me now. No, I'm only here. Hang on a minute. I'm not going anywhere, Mo. Hold on. Hedgehogs. Hedgehogs, can you hear them? Guys, you gotta listen now, okay? I'm gonna put my microphone to the window, listen. Shh. Stop moving. Can you hear? Can you hear them? I don't know if you can hear them or not. They crack me up every night. They're under my bedroom window with their little rituals thing. Money. Blimey, that hurt. Right, sorry, I just heard them and I thought you might want to hear them. Did anyone hear that? Did anyone hear it? Yes, you hear them. You can't hear them, says Princess Peach. Yes, I hear them. It was going, they go. It's like a little mating thing that they do when they're chasing each other around. It's so cute. I have a hedgehog. I can't read. Their fucking heart's in the way. I can't see the last two comments. A hedgehog something. Stalker. Right, okay. I just want to see what this bit is. Hang on.
Like the character in the show. This interview was a disaster for her.
This is
having watched my interview, at John O'Gibb gave a shout out to actress Jessica Gunning, who played Martha in Baby Reindeer, saying the actor who played Martha deserves an Emmy. She nailed that role. Ha, ha, ha. Oh, my God. So several things to unpick there. One is that, yeah, the actress did play the role very well of the real-life Fiona Harvey. Very well. Too well, you might think. If the whole desire of Richard Gadd, the author, of course, about whose story this is, and Netflix was to hide the identity of the real-life people behind these characters, then why would you choose an actress who looks quite similar to her and who you make speak exactly like her? And why would you then use extracts from posts and messages in the series which could be immediately traced back to Fiona Harvey? So I think there was a real duty of care failing, I think, by everyone involved in this, which meant that she was identified. That, of course, is why she decided to come on my show, because she wanted to have her say as everyone was having their say about her. Now, it's fair to say the vast majority of you agree that the similarity between Fiona and Martha was striking. Alice Moore, however, to come on the show. She wanted to set the records to success with this series.
This is what I find bizarre.
Appeared in front of a British Parliamentary Select Committee and said this.
Baby Reindeer is an extraordinary story, and it is obviously a true story of the horrific abuse that the writer and protagonist Richard Gadd suffered at the hands of a convicted stalker. We did take every reasonable precaution in disguising the real-life identities of the people involved in that story.
All of this, of course, raises the question of
anyway, this is just talking about it, which we don't need to watch. I thought it might have been something else. It's not. The state of that, though, that's the Netflix guy in the UK. Did you not hear the hedgehogs then? No. Well, they're basically, they're mating. They do this little thing where the man, I think it's the man, is on heat, and he makes this noise all the time, and he spots the female. It can go on for days or weeks where he'll just keep following her around, chewing, and they're always underneath my bedroom. I'm on the ground floor, as you know. I'm on a bungalow, and my bedroom window, every night they go and have their dinner, and then they come and do this little thing, and they're like dancing around each other. There's a video on my channel. I know it's not very good because it's pitch black, but they were literally on my front door step the other day, out there dancing. Like, if I would have opened my front door, I would have trod on them. They were that close. Crazy. Yes, cleaning spot. Exactly, Nanny. I was telling Jack how clean their spikes will be. Yes, and we've got some very shiny ladybirds as well round here. Very shiny indeed. Very clean. Okay, so what I'll probably do, unless something else happens with this, we'll leave it for now. But like if Richard Gadd comes on, or there's a few, Gizmo's just pumped. If anything else happens, obviously I'll let you guys know. There is a few little articles that I might do a quick video on, talking about how she wants extra money and everything. She got paid 250 quid for that. This is what she says, and she's demanding, is it $250,000 or $750,000? I don't know. It's her own fault for just asking for 250 quid. You know, like, come on. That if she had a lawyer with her, if she really had a lawyer, if she really had a boyfriend, then there'd be like someone guiding her, and she doesn't not want to talk about the family. Did you notice how she shut him down? I understand that it's private, but I'm thinking her family maybe know about her. That would be a good one if they could get her, but then it's not. It's very intrusive though. But the only way we're going to get to the bottom of this is if people that know her and know him, and especially people that were around at the time, can confirm or deny whether this went down how she says it did, and or how he says it did. Garden Penthouse. I'm in the process of rearranging the wish list on my Amazon. I'm going to do that now, actually, before I forget. So thank you to Vicky. Don't buy anything else, anyone, because I'm going to be rearranging it now. There's some cameras in there that I need to take out. Yeah, I get that, Kathy, 250, but I'm sure if she had, because of the explosiveness right now, yeah, I'm sure. Ooh, Bevlar, 69 likes. Hit the like button, guys, if you enjoy it. I'm sure she could have got more. Yeah, she's supposed to be a lawyer, well, or a trainee lawyer. Millions, I would say. Even Piers said millions, Bridget, that's been made. Anyway, so there you go. Watch this space, and we'll be keeping an eye. I'm going to watch. If you, I might start. Do you guys interested? Because I'm big on me thrillers and me horrors and me sci-fi. Do you guys interested in me doing like a weekly or monthly, like a review of anything like that I've watched? Because I am really into me. I like to get escape from the crazy world that we're in. So what else have I watched recently? I'm trying to think. So that we're done in one night. I've pretty much seen everything, all the horror films on every single network. Love Breakdown. Review of that painting. Oh my god, yeah. The video's on my other channel. But yeah, I'm gonna go and watch is it the Out of Range? I watched the first half of the series last time when it first came out, and I got a bit bored. Yes, Three Body Problem. I could have done a review on that. Watched that the night it came out, binged it. So yeah, if I binge something and I think, blimey, this is good, you can take the piss out of what you want, English Buttercup. She is annoyed, Gad. Yeah, you can see that, can't you, Kathy? She was very angry about that. I'm at the movies tomorrow night watching. Is it a new one? Is there a new Planet of the Apes? Is that what's on Disney at the moment? You see, I watched all the old ones growing up, and I'm absolutely terrified of monkeys now. Monkeys are evil, and apes, monkeys and apes, and they are going to take over the world, aren't they, Mo? Yeah, and the Japanese chins are going to save us, aren't you, Mo? He says, yeah. Is it on Disney? Oh God, is it actually on Disney though? I might have to watch it then. I am scared. Like, I've told Jack that he can't watch it till he's 21 because I watched it when I were a kid and it disturbed me, and now I'm terrified of monkeys. Monkeys are going to take over the world. So can you just confirm that, Bridget? The new Planet of the Apes that's on the cinema is on Disney Channel to watch for free. Bridget Blaine, that film is nightmare fodder. It's terrifying, David. Okay, I'm going to watch it, but it is really scary. They're gonna take over one day. I don't believe for 1 minute that we came from them. I think they lie. They lie about evolution. I'm sorry. Orangutans, vile with their bums. Sorry, that was meant to say Three Body Problem. It led to a real murder. You're talking about in China? The CEO who owned the copyright. I think that's going to get scrapped. Three Body Problem. It's a 3-book series, and that was the most mild. I loved it, but it was quite complicated, and I had to keep pausing it and asking Al to help. No, it wasn't dubbed. Three Body Problem. Oh, Monkey. Yeah, Monkey. Do you remember Monkey? Yeah, it's horror for me. Planet of the Apes. Right then, so I think what we will do an open panel coming up, and I've also got some shows planned on the Curious Bunny. We've got our deep dive into Hollow Earth and crop circles, but I'm not sure when. I need to get them penned in. And I think we do an open panel where people can come up and give their views on things, on current events, what's happening at the time. So please sub up if you're interested in that sort of stuff. Hit the like. Mad but interesting. What, the Planet of the Apes? 71 likes. Thank you, everybody. And I think I'm all baby reindeered out for now, unless something else happens. But we will keep an eye on this, and you never know. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you all very soon. My son loves free. Yeah, apparently the other two books, that book is the milder book. The other two books are completely off the reds. I really want to see The Mother's Maid. I'm thinking that it might get cancelled and go to Amazon. I don't know. But yeah, The Outer Range is about this guy lives on like a ranch and his family. And if I remember rightly, it's been 2 years since it came out and I watched it. There's a big hole and something falls down the hole and appears again or something. And it's like a void, like a portal. And it turns out that you can go through to like another version. I'm not sure. Can I hear a creaking door? That was about half an hour ago when Al went to shut the door. Are you behind, my love? Anyway, I'll let you know if it's any good. I'm going to watch it again because I didn't really watch it properly last time. And season 2's out. Thank you for watching, everybody, and I'll see you all on the next one. Take care. Bye.